The trend of people transitioning from saloons and hatchbacks to crossovers has been on the rise, and I reckon it will keep rising. People appreciate that slightly elevated driving position that enables them to have a better view of the road ahead. Some are even willing to forgo the typical Fielders, Allions and Premios in favor of the likes of the Mitsubishi RVR, Nissan Dualis, among others. Being that there are several crossover options in the market today, people often ask which is the best option. Which one is the most spacious? Which one is the most reliable? So today we will be comparing 4 crossovers extensively to help you decide on which one best suits you. So welcome to Ekevita Reviews and stay tuned. So for this comparison we decided to pick on 4 compact crossovers, which are the 2013 Nissan Juke, the 2013 Nissan Dualis, the 2012 Subaru XV, and lastly the 2011 Mitsubishi RVR. Of course, there are other options such as the Peugeot 2008, the Toyota CHR, and Honda HR-V. But the reason we didn't add these 3 to this comparison is because they are either very expensive or are not doing well in the Kenyan market. Take an example of the Toyota CHR. It's not yet well established here in Kenya because of its high asking price. It is a relatively new crossover which began production in 2016, but I reckon that in the next few years its price will definitely drop and people will start buying it. The Peugeot 2008 is also quite rare. I would say that is probably due to the fact that Peugeots don't sell well in the Kenyan market. Peugeots are often bought by people who are loyal to that brand, especially those who are raised up having a Peugeot as their family car. Before we start this comparison, as usual, I will kindly request you to consider subscribing to the channel for more informative content on cars. You can also kindly support the channel by donating. I'll leave the details in the description box. As usual, let's begin with the prices of each of these cars. You can get the 2013 Nissan Juke from around 900,000 shillings. Earlier models like the 2011 ones are definitely cheaper. You can probably get one with around 750 or 800,000 shillings, depending on the overall condition of the car. The 2013 Nissan Dualis will set you back at around 1.25 million. That's the starting price, though you can still get earlier models at a more affordable price of around 950,000. That is maybe the 2010 or 2011 models. The 2012 Subaru XV costs around 1.6 million shillings, and lastly the 2011 Mitsubishi RVR costs around 1.25 million. But if you want newer models like the 2013 or 2014 models, then it will be much more expensive at around 1.7 or 1.8 million, especially those that have much lower mileage. Moving on to insurance costs, expect to pay around 38,000 shillings per annum for the 2013 Nissan Juke. But if you go for the more affordable earlier models like the 2011 ones, then the comprehensive insurance will also be more affordable, precisely at around 30,000 shillings per annum. The 2013 Nissan Dualis will cost around 70,000 shillings to insure comprehensively, but the earlier models like the 2011 ones are more easy on the pocket at around 44,000 shillings per annum. The 2012 Subaru XV should cost around 68,000 shillings per annum to insure, while the 2011 Mitsubishi RVR will set you back at around 52,000 shillings per annum. But the newer models are way more expensive. The 2013 and 2014 models are more expensive to buy and hence will be more expensive to insure, roughly around 105,000 shillings per annum, depending on the value of the car. Let's now talk engine options. There are 2 in the Nissan Juke, a 1.5 litre 4-cylinder petrol engine and a 1.6 litre turbo, which is more powerful than the 1.5 litre. This car is available in either front or all-wheel drive. These engines can be coupled to either of the 2 transmission options available, a CVT or a 5-speed manual, which is not so common as most people prefer the automatic. The 1.5 litre is adequate for daily commutes as well as long travels, though it may feel slightly strained if the car is loaded. The 1.6 litre turbo on the other hand is more powerful but you will have to be careful and always watch out for the turbo, because if anything goes wrong with it, then replacing that turbo will definitely not be a cheap fix. So I will recommend the 1.5 liter. Moving on to the Nissan Dualis, it's very straightforward. There's only one engine option, which is a 2 liter 4-cylinder petrol engine that is coupled to a single transmission option, which is a CVT. This car is also available in either front or all-wheel drive. This 2 liter engine packs in decent power under normal driving conditions. It can as well handle long drives without feeling too much strained. The Subaru XV also has a single engine option, which is a 2 liter that is coupled to a CVT transmission, and it's only available in symmetrical all-wheel drive. All these crossovers have the option of all-wheel drive and decent ground clearance, meaning they will provide better traction on slippery road surfaces and maybe even handle very slight off-roading. But this Subaru XV will outshine these competitors with its intelligent symmetrical all-wheel drive. Definitely it's not a proper 4-wheel drive vehicle, but compared to the selectable all-wheel drive systems in the Nissan Dualis and Mitsubishi RVR, this Subaru's symmetrical all-wheel drive system is way better. Its 2 liter engine provides sufficient power for city as well as long distance drives. Lastly, you can get the Mitsubishi RVR with a single engine option, which is a 1.8 liter 4-cylinder petrol engine that is coupled to a CVT, the only transmission option on offer. The car is available in either front or selectable all-wheel drive. The power on offer is decent enough for city as well as long distance drives. Moving on to fuel consumption, expect around 14.5 kilometers to the liter in the Nissan Juke's 1.5 liter engine and around 13 kilometers per liter in the 1.6 liter turbo. The 2 liter in the Nissan Dualis will get around 14 kilometers to the liter, while the Subaru XV's 2 liter will achieve around 15 kilometers to the liter. The Nissan Dualis is slightly heavier than the Subaru XV, so that might be the reason why it's slightly less efficient despite it having the same engine displacement as the Subaru XV. Lastly, the Mitsubishi RVR 1.8 liter will get around 16 kilometers per liter. The Nissan Juke has a 52 liter fuel tank, the Dualis a 65 liter tank, the Subaru XV a 60 liter tank, and lastly the Mitsubishi RVR a 60 liter tank as well. Now, in terms of service costs, it will cost roughly 10,000 shillings to service each of these cars for the minor service, which should be done after every 5,000 kilometers in the Juke, Dualis and Subaru XV. The Mitsubishi RVR has a much longer service interval, precisely after every 10,000 kilometers. The amount you spend in servicing will depend on where you choose to service the car as well as the quality of parts you choose. You may spend 7,000, 8,000 or even more than 10,000 depending on the factors I've mentioned above. If you choose to use synthetic oil, then the amount you spend will definitely be higher. As for the major service, expect to spend roughly 18,000 shillings after 10,000 kilometers in the Juke and the Dualis, while in the Subaru XV and Mitsubishi RVR it should be done after 15,000 kilometers and will cost roughly 18,000 shillings as well. Moving on to the carb weight, the Nissan Juke weighs around 1,320 kgs. It's the lightest car here. The Dualis around 1,400 kgs. It's the heaviest. The Subaru XV around 1,370 kgs. And the Mitsubishi RVR around 1,360 kgs. Before we move on to the exterior and interiors of these cars, let's quickly take a look at some of the optional features each car comes with. The Nissan Juke can come with features such as a navigation, reversing camera, fog lights, alloy rims, automatic AC, Bluetooth connectivity. The Nissan Dualis is available with optional features such as a dual zone AC, a panoramic glass roof, alloy rims, fog lights, navigation, cruise control, Bluetooth connectivity, and steering mounted audio controls. The Subaru XV can come with features such as a sunroof, fog lights, roof rails, curtain airbags, eyesight system, headlight washers, cruise control, navigation, automatic AC, rain sensing wipers, keyless entry and a smart start. Lastly, you can get the Mitsubishi RVR with features such as a reversing camera, a navigation, USB charging ports, alloy rims, fog lights, paddle shifts, panoramic glass roof, smart start, cruise control, and HID or high intensity discharge headlights, which are very bright at night. Let's now talk about the exterior designs of these cars. Let me know which one you will go for in terms of the exterior design. I've often heard people say the Nissan Juke's design is striking. I think they meant it looks good. I would say it's a polarizing design. You will either like or hate it. I think the Subaru XV is the better looking car here. It looks robust and off-road ready, especially with those chunky roof rails and body cladding. The Dualis is a bit more conservative, while the Mitsubishi RVR tends to strike a good balance between an aggressive and sporty look. Moving on into the interior, the Nissan Juke is the least spacious car here. It will be very difficult for 3 people to sit in the back seats. They might fit at a squeeze, but it will be very uncomfortable as the leg and shoulder room is quite limited. The sloping roofline adds an insult to injury. The boot is also a disappointment. You can't carry much back there, but on the plus side you can fold down the back seats in a 60-40 split fashion to create room for luggage whenever the need arises. This car is quite limited in terms of space that some hatchbacks can give it a run for its money. The Nissan Dualis on the other hand is quite spacious at both the front and second row. There is decent leg, head and shoulder room. 3 people can be accommodated comfortably on a short journey. The transmission tunnel may make a long journey less comfortable for the third passenger, who may have to fight for foot space, but other than that, it's a spacious car. The boot is quite decent. It can swallow 2 large suitcases and other smaller items. The seats also fold down to create more room for luggage. Moving on to the Subaru XV, there is decent space at both front and back seats. There is ample leg and headroom for people of average height. The seats are comfortable, nothing much to complain about, except for the transmission tunnel that may impede on the center passenger's footroom. The boot can accommodate 2 large suitcases and a few other smaller items, like in the other 2 cars. The back seats can also fold down to create more room for luggage. Lastly, when you take an exterior look at the Mitsubishi RVR, you may think it is quite a small car in the interior. But you'll be wrong, because this small crossover shares the same wheelbase measurement as the bigger Mitsubishi Outlander SUV, so it's quite spacious. There's ample room at the front row. Even taller people will be able to sit comfortably without any problem. At the back there is decent legroom, but the headroom may be slightly limited, especially for taller passengers due to the sloping roofline. Other than that, it feels spacious, and the back seats can also recline to give that extra relaxing, comfortable experience. The boot is also quite spacious. You can fit in quite a lot, just like in the Nissan Dualis and Subaru XV. When it comes to the driving dynamics, all these vehicles are comfortable. They have a soft and composed ride, although there might be some body roll, especially if you drive fast at bends. So there you have it. I hope this has been helpful. So which one should you go for? All these cars are compelling choices, so making a choice will be quite a challenge. The Nissan Juke is quite limited in terms of space, but it's also the most affordable both to buy and insure. For the most part, it's a reliable car. So if you fancy its design and don't need all that much space in the interior, then go for it. Note that it doesn't have such a good resale value, so you may want to buy it if you intend to keep it for a long time. The Subaru XV has a good resale value. It's very reliable, it's fuel efficient, and looks good. That symmetrical all-wheel drive is a huge plus. This car will be our pick in this comparison, but if you give a second look at the asking price, you will pause and ask whether it's really worth it. These Subaru XVs can cost as much as 1.8 or 2 million for lower mileage cars that are still in mint condition. At this price, you can very well get a 2010 or 2011 Subaru Forester or even a Nissan X-Trail that is still in good condition. So it becomes quite tricky, especially if you're on a tight budget. We think the XV is quite expensive, but definitely the prices will go down with time. But until then, I think with your 1.6 million, you can get yourself a bigger, more powerful crossover that is still in good shape. But if finances allow and you like the car, then go for it. Same case applies with the 2013 and 2014 Mitsubishi RVR. They are quite expensive, so if you really like the car but are on a tight budget, go with the earlier models like the 2011 ones. They are more affordable. It's quite difficult to give a precise answer on which specific car to go for among these four, but when we consider all the factors such as value for money, purchase price, fuel efficiency, and space packaging, we think the Mitsubishi RVR wins, but by a very small margin. To be specific, it's the 2011 model. We think that the 2013 and 2014 models are way too expensive for a compact crossover. The Nissan Dualis is not as fuel efficient as the Subaru XV and the Mitsubishi RVR. It also doesn't have a very good resale value, but apart from that, it's a good, reliable and spacious compact crossover. If there's anything we didn't cover that you may want to inquire on, feel free to reach me via email or WhatsApp. Thank you for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. See you in the next video.